There's a sentence you've probably said this month, maybe this week, maybe today. I don't really need that much. I just want to be comfortable. Say it out loud sometime and actually listen to yourself while you do it. Notice how fast it comes out. Notice how rehearsed it sounds, like you've said it 100 times before, to 100 different people, in 100 slightly different rooms, because you probably have. At a dinner table, in a job interview, to a partner, half joking, when the subject of money came up and got uncomfortable fast. Now here's the part I actually want to talk to you about today. While you're saying that sentence, what's happening underneath it? Because for most people, underneath, I just want to be comfortable, is a much louder, much less polite version of the same thought. Something closer to, I want more than this. I want a life where money isn't a weekly math problem I'm running in the back of my head. I want to stop doing mental gymnastics every time something breaks, or something's due, or someone asks me to split a bill I can't really afford to split. You don't say that version out loud. You say the modest one instead, and I want you to actually sit with why, because that gap between what you truly want and what you're willing to admit you want is the entire subject of this video, not manifestation in the way you've probably heard it talked about before. Something quieter and, honestly, a little more uncomfortable than that. Here's something I've noticed in myself and in almost everyone I've ever talked to honestly about money. We don't have a scarcity problem most of the time. We have a two-faced relationship with wanting. Think about how you'd feel if a friend of yours desperately wanted a promotion but told everyone at every dinner party, "Oh, I don't really care about that stuff." You'd probably think that's strange. Why would you hide something you clearly want that badly? But we do the exact same thing with money, and we don't even notice because it's socially rewarded. Nobody raises an eyebrow when you downplay wanting more. People nod. They respect it. It sounds like maturity. It sounds like you've got your priorities straight. Except it isn't maturity. It's a performance you learned, probably a long time ago, because somewhere you picked up the idea that wanting money openly makes you look greedy, or shallow, or ungrateful for what you already have. So you split the want in two. The real one stays private, a little embarrassed of itself, and the public one gets sanded down into something safe to say at a family dinner. Here's my honest opinion on this, and you can disagree with me. I think that split costs people more than the money itself, because you can't act clearly on a want you won't admit to. Every decision you make, whether to ask for the raise, whether to raise your rate, whether to start the thing you keep putting off, runs through that filter of, how does this look? Instead of, what do I actually want? And a decision filtered through how it looks is rarely a decision that gets you anywhere. I want to give you something more useful than a vibe check on this. Here's the grounded version of what's actually happening. Your sense of what you're allowed to want isn't fixed. It's built mostly out of what got approved of and what got side-eyed when you were younger. If wanting more, out loud, ever got you a raised eyebrow, a joke at your expense, must be nice, your brain filed that away as socially expensive. And your brain, whatever else it's doing, is always trying to keep you socially safe. So it quietly started editing your wants down to a size that wouldn't cost you anything to say out loud. That's not a weakness. That's not a character flaw you need to fix with an affirmation. It's a learned adjustment, and learned adjustments can be unlearned, but only if you can actually see them first. Here's a situation you'll probably recognize. Someone asks what you do with a windfall, say, a bonus, or a gift, or an unexpected sum landing in your account. Watch what your answer does. Most people immediately go small and responsible. Pay off debt. Fix the car. Put it in savings. All fine answers, genuinely. But notice, does anything in you flinch at even considering an answer that isn't practical? Does the idea of saying something bigger, something purely for you, something closer to what you'd actually want, Feel a little embarrassing before you've even said it. That flinch is the two-faced relationship. Live in real time, not a metaphor. An actual, physical hesitation you can catch if you're paying attention. I'll tell you honestly, I used to think the fix for this was just be more confident, say the real want out loud more often, like confidence was a muscle you build through repetition. And that's not wrong, exactly, but it's incomplete. Because saying a want out loud that you still secretly believe is shameful doesn't dissolve the shame. It just performs confidence over the top of it, and most people can feel the difference, including you. What actually shifts something is smaller and less dramatic than that. It's noticing, specifically, the moment you downgrade a want before anyone else even challenges it. You don't need an audience to do this to yourself. You do it alone, in your own head, constantly deciding a number is too much to ask for before you've even asked. Deciding a want is unrealistic before you've tested whether it actually is. Here's a real one. Say you're thinking about asking for a raise. Before you've even talked to anyone, you've already negotiated yourself down. You picked a number that felt reasonable, which, if you're honest, usually means a number that wouldn't make anyone uncomfortable, including you. That's the two-faced relationship doing the negotiating before the actual negotiation has even started. If you want to sit with more of this, how the self-concept side of money actually works, not the mystical side, I've written some of it out at Manifest the Infinite. Calm. It's not a technique, it's more of a way of thinking about this that I've found useful to come back to. So what do you actually do with this once you've caught it? Not a ritual. Not a script you repeat to yourself in the mirror. Just this: the next time you catch yourself editing a want down before you've even said it, pause for 1 second and ask yourself a plain question. Am I choosing this because it's actually what I want, or because it's the version that won't make anyone uncomfortable? That's it. You don't have to fix it at that moment. You don't have to suddenly announce your real number to the room. You just have to notice, honestly, which version you were about to hand over. Noticing it is the whole move. Because you can't renegotiate a want you don't know you shrank. Do that enough times, really enough times, not once, not as an experiment you abandon in 3 days and something does start to shift. Not because you said a magic sentence. Because you stopped auto-editing yourself in 100 small moments a week, and 100 small moments a week adds up to a different relationship with wanting, over time, whether or not anyone else ever sees it happen. So here's what I actually want you to take from this. Not a technique. Just a question. The next time you catch yourself saying, I don't need that much, pause, just for a second, and ask yourself honestly which version you were about to hand over. The real one, or the one that's easier to say out loud in front of other people. You don't have to answer it for me. You don't have to answer it right now at all. Sitting here watching this, just notice it the next time it happens. That's enough for today.